Do you think the public confidence in SPS has shaken due to this extortion scenario? The way extortions were being handled under the former chief, Norm Lipinski, are you changing anything in how it was being handled before? Or are we going ahead with the same plan and strategy? Do you have enough workforce to have the people from your force focus on the extortions and then handle all the other issues at the same time? Is SPS on the right track to get the transition done according to the red line? Chief, the shake-up in the Surrey Police Board and then the exit of the former police chief. Considering the transition deadline, what do you think about the timing of this change? Have you been given a timeline of when Surrey can get its new police chief? And would you be interested in that position too? So, Chief Matsumoto, since this is our first one-on-one conversation since your appointment as the Interim Chief,
yes.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And what are your priorities as the Interim Chief during your tenure?
Good question. Priorities haven't changed very much at all. It is really a focus on public safety in Surrey. And a big part of that are extortions and managing the extortion calls for service. But it is also supporting our internal staff, both our sworn and our civilian staff. It is making sure as we're going through transition into our final district, which is Guildford, that our staff are supported, have the resources they need. And that actually is the other priority we have, and that is to complete the transition. We're very close to doing that. Working with our RCMP colleagues to finish that process and the province as well. And that is the sort of priorities at hand. There's 3 big tasks. Yes.
You already mentioned the extortions. Let's focus on the extortions as one of the main topics that we talk about in the beginning. Extortions has been one of the main community discussions and one of the biggest issues of concern for the community. The way extortions were being handled under the former chief, Norm Lipinski, are you changing anything in how it was being handled before? Or are we going ahead with the same plan and strategy?
Yes, same plan and strategy, because I think the plan and strategy is very good and is effective. As you know, you said it, extortions are a very large concern to the community. It's a very big concern to us as the police service as well. And as much as we could see the trend line of extortions wax and wane, we want to make sure that we always keep our foot on the gas pedal. I think it's very important that we keep resources in place. I'll explain those in just a minute, because it is such a pressing issue on the community. So, for example, we have really 2 responses on the extortion crisis. We have our investigator team. These are our detectives, our plainclothes people. Their expertise is investigating crime. They're sort of in the background. They're not front and center in the public's eye, but they are the people that go and basically find the evidence to the offenses when they're reported, and when our other part of the extortion response, which I'll explain in a minute, sort of draw up and bring up intelligence and arrests. It's the investigative team that takes over. They write the report to Crown Counsels, and they are quite effective. We, as you probably heard, we're one of the first agency in British Columbia to get an extortion related conviction. In addition to working with our partners like CBSA and passing on information that allows CBSA to make decisions about what they're going to do in terms of deportations and things like that. But all of it hinges as well on the other arm of our response that I mentioned, and that is our sort of Project Assurance. These are uniform and plainclothes police officers that are in the community. They are in touch with our victims of extortion. They are aware, of course, of the locations. They set up intelligence gathering operations. They are there in real time should shootings and different things happen, that they can be there to try and catch the bad guys. And they've been quite successful in doing that. So it really is a hand-in-glove type team with the overt sort of team, that's uniform team that's sort of doing the disruption and suppression of extortion activity. But when the activity happens, they're also there to try and catch the bad guys and pass that information on to our detective team that then does the investigation. So long way of saying it's a very effective strategy. It works well. I think we're getting successes. So we want to make sure we keep that going.
44 extortion files reported in just the month of January this year.
Yes.
Two ways of looking at it. The cases can be seen as declining since the month of February this year. And the other way of looking at it is in the whole of the 2025, 134 cases were reported. And compared to that, we've already crossed that milestone in the first 7 months of this year. How do you look at the scenario? What do you feel about the whole extortion scenario in Surrey?
Yeah, I think you identified the stats there, and you're correct. It's we had a huge amount of activity in that first month, and that's why I said, going back to my to the words I said just a few minutes ago, it's important that we don't let our foot off the gas. We want to make sure we keep our teams focused on that extortion, even though numbers might be declining this month. We also know that the next month the numbers could climb again. So we have the structure in place. We have the resources in place. We want to maintain that. That's why I think it's important that we continue on. Yes, we're always paying attention of the stats. We're always watching numbers go up and down, but it's really important that we have our resources available and be able to react and continue suppression as much as possible.
Do you think the public confidence in SPS has shaken due to this extortion scenario?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think when the sort of crisis descended on us, which was last year, there's no doubt that members of the public were concerned about what is the police response. And it was a new type of crime type we were seeing as well as police professionals. But I think that, we also belong to the BC Extortion Task Force. So there is also a provincial body made up of RCMP, SPS, and some other neighboring law enforcement agencies that do this work from a provincial level, because we know that the extortions are not just confined to Surrey. Most of it might be happening in Surrey at any given time, but we know that they have legs and tentacles that go across not only a province, but across Canada as well. So we have different layers of responses and resources on the problem, and I think that we have a good handle on it.
And what kind of response or what kind of support have you got from RCMP and the other policing jurisdictions to handle extortions? Or rather, I should ask it this way. How's the partnership working between SPS and the RCMP or the Extortion Task Force or the other policing jurisdictions to handle the extortions?
Yeah, I don't want to speak on behalf of the BC Extortion Task Force or the other agencies, but from the SPS perspective, having the opportunity to join a joint force operation like that is very positive. It's not just the obvious advantage is we have more investigators that we can throw at the problem. But there are other benefits that come with that as well. There's information and intelligence sharing. Instead of 2 heads thinking about things, we have 3 and 4 and 10 heads thinking about the same issues. So we bring, a lot of expertise and policing experts to the problem. So it is, it is always advantageous when we have multi-jurisdictional crime, specific crime patterns or crime types, to also have a multi-jurisdictional response team.
And extortions are not the only challenge that SPS has on its hands. There's other crimes happening simultaneously. There's organized crime, there's crime against seniors, there's scams happening, there's drug trafficking, human trafficking, etc., etc. Do you have enough workforce to have the people from your force focus on the extortions and then handle all the other issues at the same time?
We do. It is a challenge, though. I'll say it is a challenge because we haven't completed the transition yet. As I mentioned, we still have to finish the Guildford transition. Therefore, we're still building as well. And as much as our recruiting is going very well, as much as working with our RCMP colleagues who continue to police District 2 is going well, it is a challenge for sure. There's no doubt about it. But again, I think it's to remind people we are still growing. We're not at steady state yet, and we're still transitioning into other districts, but we're able to manage the resources that we have in an effective as way as possible.
And how is the transition looking? Is SPS on the right track to get the transition done according to the red line?
Yes, I think we are. Very positive working environment with the RCMP and the province in planning out what this final push in the transition looks like. We are talking about a number of options, and I feel very supportive.
The transition would be completed in less than 4 months, according to the deadlines. Now, going from there, what kind of support would you need from RCMP at that time and moving forward?
Yeah, we're still, that's really the crux of the discussions that we're having right now. So when we sort of come to what we think the plan is, we being all the stakeholders, then we would be announcing those plans. But we're just in the discussion phase right now of what that looks like. Yeah.
Chief Matsumoto, can you give me a snapshot of the SPS workforce right now? What proportion of officers might be or could be looking at retiring in the next 5 to 10 years? And what are your preparations, or what are SPS's preparations to fulfill those vacancies and fulfill the other workforce requirements through recruitment and retention policies?
Good observation. So yes, when SPS stood up in 2021, and as we started hiring our large groups of police officers come over, many of them initially are experienced officers. Many of them are in the twilight of their career. And as much as we haven't had very few retirements, it is something that we, of course, have our eye on in terms of what does the near future look like with retirements. But I think we mitigate that as much as you mentioned it yourself, and that is a very robust recruiting sort of structure that we have in place. So we really get recruits from really two sources. We have experienced officers that we are still trying to recruit, police officers that have experience. It doesn't matter where in Canada. And why those members are important is because they have experience and they can come to SPS, they can bring the experiences of their past agency. And we need that sort of mid to more senior level police skill set. Because, and this is the other stream of our police officer hiring, we have recruits coming in, and we have large numbers of recruits. The province has done well for us to make sure that we have lots of seats at the Justice Institute, British Columbia. That is the provincial training academy for all new municipal police recruits. And we have a very robust program that's it's very hard work. We get a lot, literally hundreds of applications every month, and the team has to go through and sort of triage them and try and pick out which applicants are going to go on to the next stages, which take more resources like interviewing and background investigations, all of the physical and educational testing that goes with it. So it's a lot of work. The team does very well. But that's really our two streams, and we are building as quick as we can to try and mitigate some of those issues that you raised about retirement and whatnot. But we're not seeing people retire right now. But it is something we have our eye on that may happen in the future for sure.
Chief, the shake-up in the Surrey Police Board and then the exit of the former police chief. Considering the transition deadline, what do you think about the timing of this change?
Well, I think overall change is difficult. It's difficult for the organization, and the public may have questions or concerns about the change. But and this is going back to our priorities, and that was kind of the first question they asked me. And that's why the priorities are still public safety, our member and civilian staff wellness, and completing the transition. And we're focused on those three things. I have a very, very excellent senior management team that's in place that knows the priorities. And every day they are overseeing operations and overseeing the build. And overseeing the transition planning. So as much as, as I getting back to my statement that there might be some difficulties with leadership change, there always is in an organization, that is really a function of the police board. And, it's not really my concern in terms of what I need to focus on, and that is the priorities that we talked about and moving this forward and always having in the top of our mind's eye public safety and how are we dealing with that.
The Surrey Police Service has had a little bit of an unconventional start, or we might even say a difficult start. Firstly, the mayor wanting to keep the RCMP in Surrey, then the province directing to go ahead with the transition, then the change in the police board, then the exit of the former police chief. How do you think this has impacted the perception of SPS being able to deliver on its mandate of keeping the city safe?
Like I said, I think it might raise some question in the community, but I think the best way to combat that is to ensure that the community knows that we're there. We're there in their time of need. When they call us, that we'll be available to send police officers to deal with whatever situation they have, that we're there to keep them safe. We're there to continue with our extortion response, and we're there with the transition. So I think it's really showing with our actions that as much as some of these distractions might be going on, my staff, both on the sworn side and the civilian side, myself, my leadership team, is 100% focused on those parties we just talked about.
Have you been given a timeline of when Surrey can get its new police chief? And would you be interested in that position too?
You're the only person that's asked me that question, quite honestly. Of course, I've thought about it, but it really is a conversation I need to have with my family about whether that's the right move or not. But I appreciate the question. Yeah, there's no doubt it's on my mind.
Wonderful. And police chief, if you would like to say anything to the residents of Surrey.
Yes. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it's really important that the residents understand and trust that SPS is here. We have their backs. I want to assure residences that the extortion situation is still top of mind for us, as well as dealing with all of the unique public safety issues that happen in all the districts. Of course, Surrey is a very large place, and each of the districts has sort of different issues and concerns that are specific to that district. So we continue to work with the public to understand those specific details, but also to tailor a response in a way that gives the confidence that we are there and that we are responding to their time of need.
Chief Matsumoto, thank you very much for taking time and answering all these questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please.